You think the KKK is alive today?
Yes, of course.
Oh my gosh,
okay,
what are you
hold on.
talking about? Find me one. I want to meet
Now
one.
we have a
You're saying the
debate.
KKK doesn't exist.
Now we have a
at all.
debate.
In this video, we are going to take a look at a typical example of somebody who has been sold a lie, showing just how brainwashed they are. Candace Owens does not hold back on this one, and at the end, she absolutely zooms in on this point brilliantly. You guys are going to love this. So with that, let's get into the clips.
I got a question for Candace.
Okay.
You said America wasn't a racist country.
I never said that. You can't find a single.
You said America isn't a racist country, right?
America is not a racist country. Yeah, I did say that. You're right.
All right. So,
Got me.
all right, I look at one example, like inner city gangs, right? If you look at like inner city gangs, they were really like persecuted 100% by police departments and the government. What did America do to end the ideology or the practice of the KKK at all?
So let's dial this back to end the practice of the KKK. I want to start with saying to you what percentage of Black Americans Black homicides are committed by white people?
That's just like me saying how much percent of homicides. It's like you guys that for any.
No, I'm just asking a question. I'm not trying to walk you into a trap.
I don't really study statistics because statistics, you could look at any race and look at numbers of killings and murder. So.
Would it be fair if I said that Black people are racist towards Black people right now?
Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's a little racist.
Do you think that we're racist towards each other?
No, I wouldn't say racist.
I find it interesting. The hyper focusing on the KKK, which killed thousands of Black Americans.
If you asked me if you think we're racist to each other.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but if we were.
Okay, because we're killing ourselves, just so you know. Like we're at a way faster. At a way faster and higher rate than any person in terms of white supremacy could ever do it. And if another organization that's doing it faster, you want to talk about the KKK? They killed thousands of Blacks. Planned Parenthood has killed millions, 19 million. Nobody's having a conversation about that. And this is important because the media gets us obsessed with this idea of white supremacy and the history of the KKK. Thousands of Blacks were killed by the KKK, and by the way, so were white Republicans, and we were killed by white Democrats, which is why I'm adamantly opposed to Democrats. But nobody wants to have a conversation about what's really killing Black America.
But Black males are probably the most people in prison, so you can't say nothing's being done about it.
Well, first and foremost, what are they locking us up for? Are they locking us up because we're Black?
No, you just said we commit the most crimes.
No, but I'm asking you a question. Are they locking us up because we're Black?
I never said that.
Okay, so I'm just saying to you that the reason why we're locked up the most is because we're committing the most crimes. We have to fix our communities. It's a real conversation that Black Americans need to have, and I try to do that with the Blexit movement when I target our communities to have these conversations. The idea that white supremacy is the thing that's stopping Black America is a complete and utter myth.
Okay,
and until we're willing to have.
I never said that either.
She's not saying you said that.
I'm not saying you did. I haven't
statement.
accused you of saying anything. I'm just saying what I'm actually saying. That's it, okay? The number one issue facing our community is father absence. Father absence, okay?
I disagree, but okay.
Excuse me?
I disagree, but okay.
Okay, well, you said you brought up the prisons, right? If you grow up without a father in the home, you're 20 times more likely to end up behind bars. You want to know who I got that from? President Barack Obama. He talked about the stats of what it does when you destroy the Black family. The destruction of the Black family, if you want to talk, wait, I'm not done. The destruction of the Black family happened because of Democrats and what they did in the 1960s, LBJ and his Great Society Act and the welfare system. We can talk about all of those things. The very last thing we should be talking about, if I had to make a list of 100 things that's really screwing up the Black community, white supremacy wouldn't make the list.
So this is a very important problem, and it's one that you tend to see cross-culturally, as far as I can tell, in Western countries. And what it is the very low-resolution way of looking at societal problems. One will look at an issue like mass incarceration and decide that because they're disproportionately Black, this must mean racism. And honestly, the media, politics, and education are largely to blame for this, and probably social media as well. And I regularly hear this sort of rhetoric in Australia. People will say, how can you say that Australia is not a racist country when X% of people incarcerated are Aboriginal, as if to say we're just locking them up because they're Aboriginal, without looking at the multitude of factors as to why that is the case. They just hear a statistic that doesn't sound fair and all of a sudden they're incensed by it. These people are just too easy to convince, and it's honestly frustrating to hear. Just like any major social issue, these things are extremely complicated, and there's all sorts of cultural and historical nuance that needs to be taken into account when we're making a judgment on such matters. You have to be able to peel back the layers a little bit and look at things with somewhat of a logical perspective. Otherwise, our discourse just becomes a battle between your emotional, uninformed perspective and my emotional, uninformed perspective. Nobody wants that. Guys, before we get to the next clip, if you don't mind chucking a quick thumbs up like this on this video, and also subscribe to the channel, because I'd love nothing more than to have you around forever. Back to the clips.
But I wasn't even asking you about the black community. I was just saying, you said America wasn't a racist nation.
It's not.
It's not.
All right, so look.
It's not today.
The Black Panthers were all locked up and killed by the government.
Are the Black Panthers here
But
today?
I'm saying, the KKK has been around since how long? And what has the government done for anything to persecute?
You think the KKK is alive today?
Yes, of course.
Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Find me one. I want to meet
now
one.
we have
You're
a
saying the
debate.
KKK doesn't exist.
Now we have a
at all.
debate. Hey, wait. Now we have a debate. So
Have you ever met one?
I'm asking you, what are you saying
You're
whoa
saying
about?
the KKK doesn't exist at all? What happened?
I'm going to ask
What
you
did
a
the
question.
government do to erase them? What did the government do to erase the KKK? How can you say they don't exist?
You have to slow down. I can't understand what you're saying. What did you say?
That's crazy to me. But how can you say the KKK does not exist today?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Where are they?
What do you mean, where are they?
Where do they meet?
They could be judges.
I just feel like this is a really big story, and CNN should cover it. Where is the KKK?
It's literally an ideology.
No, can you name a leader? Can you name a gathering point? Anything?
Who's the leader? Where are they meeting? In what country? In what city?
Ask me where. I'm not going nowhere near where
Because they aren't.
Because they don't. They literally live in the media's head. Have you ever seen a KKK member in a hood? I'm asking you a serious question.
So you're saying the KKK does not exist?
All right, come down. No, come down. I'm dying to see this. Because I have asked every journalist that brings this up since Charlottesville to tell me where the KKK meets.
So, in Houston, Texas, there was an event through a predominantly black neighborhood known as Acres Homes that was protected by the police, and they were escorted through a black community. So that's the issue. So they do exist. They are there.
And they're protected by the police. Protected.
Okay. So I'm asking you a serious question. As a black American, you fear the KKK.
I don't fear any.
Okay. So you saw.
That's where I agree with y'all.
Look, I am from one parish.
No. We're not doing 3-on-1. You can have a time. You can have a time when you get to the mic. I'm asking you a serious question. Of all of the things that is going on in the black community, you cannot look me in the face and tell me that you really think that the rise of the KKK is a real thing.
But
I won't believe that.
I'm looking at America, not really the black community.
And I'm shocked to hear. You said you've never seen a KKK member. You said that there was one in Texas. What year was it?
It was around 2008, just before.
2000 and what?
I graduated high school in 2008 in Acres Homes from Carver.
And they were walking down the street in hoods.
Yeah, that was an event there. It was a
Georgia, they still have events.
Well, I think we're losing.
Good. Yeah, well, let's not lose the focus. Yeah, that's fine. I will definitely look it up. I will look up the Texas event, the KKK walk. But the point that I was making, maybe they did meet once, however, 10 years ago in your town, and I'll definitely look into it because I always want to educate myself. But the point is that neither of you can look me in the face and tell me that you think that the KKK is a real threat to the black community. It's just not true.
When they could be a judge or a doctor or
No, but the issue here is no one's denying that there are individual racists
in this country.
In a country.
I said America is not a racist country.
So
you know it's not.
If they're not a racist country, how have they done nothing to persecute KKK members? Like David Duke. David Duke is a known KKK.
Yes, David Duke endorsed a Democrat running for president this cycle. I just have to say that.
Why is he not in prison?
What did you say?
David Duke
Can you put the mic closer to him?
I do have to say though,
can't hear him.
it's so marginalized, it's so minimal. The overemphasis, over-conversation, over-focus. These people are losers. These people have no life. These people are not in mainstream society. These people are not what people try to make it seem.
This is why I say when you heard me say earlier that I hate when us, we are the most privileged black people in the entire world, right? We are, plain and simple. The most privileged black people in the entire world live in America today. It's insulting to me because when my grandfather used to tell me the stories about the real KKK, the ones that would come on horseback and shoot into his home in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and do you want to know what my grandfather says about them? He says, and when they used to come around, my dad used to shoot back at them boys. Such an empowering thing when he talks about them. He talks about them like they were children. He tells me stories about when the black mothers would come out and take the hoods off and yell at them and say, is that you, Peter, or whatever their names were? And then when you come up and you say it like, what are we going to do about the KKK members? You're not afraid of them. I know you're not afraid of the KKK members.
I'm not afraid of them.
You're not. You're not. So why are we talking about them? Why are you even giving them the air or the conversation because you once saw them 10 years ago?
All America did was
change
laws, and all they did was have to change their methods. They could have just changed their methods.
But what did they do? Did they shoot and kill? Generally, I'm trying to understand, where are the KKK? Are they killing black people? Because if they are, they definitely should be prosecuted.
There's laws against murder.
So to be fair to him, the KKK does technically still exist. And I watched a documentary about a chapter the other day. And even though the documentary was trying to make them sound so horrible and dangerous, they seem to me to be unbelievably fringe groups of dorky white guys who would be absolutely terrible dancers in very rural parts of America that like to put on robes and basically just hang out together. And the notion that I got from this was that the small number of people that do join this group, as is the case in my humble opinion of any extreme sort of ideological group, only really do so because they're lonely and dissatisfied and looking to be a part of something, be a part of a community. And the fact alone that this group, who used to be at the highest echelons of government, has become so tiny and non-threatening due to the fact that this is culturally unacceptable is an incredible reflection of just how far America has come. But then you get individuals like this guy asking the question, who's had his mind poisoned, and he really believes in this stuff that he can't see. Yes, one of them said that he saw some of them walking down a street, but is anybody getting lynched or murdered or even assaulted? It's non-existent. Juicy Smollett had to fake it. Amongst all of the problems that they have in America, there is not a problem of roving bands of white people hunting down blacks, yet these people really think it's a problem that needs to be addressed. It's fascinating to see the mass psychosis that the media has created on full display. Now watch Candace Owens take this home with the facts that make this whole argument look about as stupid as it really is.
I think that the issue, the thing he's trying to bring forward is that when you look at the historical treatment of organizations or groups of people of color, whether it's Black Lives Movements or Black Panther and so on, the moment that they were demonized, they were listed as terrorist organizations. Why has it never been that the Ku Klux Klan was demonized or listed as a terrorist organization?
They were never demonized? The Ku Klux...
By the government? Never.
Has the government
because
ever listed them?
Because they were the government. They were Democrats.
Well, yeah, this is not true. The Oklahoma City bombing was categorized as a terrorist act, so you're incorrect there.
So
the Fort Hood massacre was terrorist.
I was a common engineer. I was trained by some of the same people who knew the guy, so I understand.
So let me ask you a question. Was the Waco complex considered a terrorist organization by the FBI, yes or no?
Who?
The Branch Davidians.
It should be.
Oh, but they were white. You said that never happened against white supremacist organizations.
No, I said the Ku Klux Klan. I'm talking about the Klan
it is a similar type organization. The Branch Davidians were misinterpreted
for the almost the entirety of America.
The Branch Davidians were a white supremacist organization.
As a terrorist organization.
Guys, I'm going to wrap this up because if I genuinely thought that you thought the KKK was alive and well, we'd have a full, long conversation about this. What we're talking about here is that you want to ignore, and this is what genuinely frustrates me so much about the Black community. You want to ignore all the really big issues that we should be talking about, okay? We all know what's going on in our communities. We just had another rapper that was gunned down. We know about black-on-black crime. We know about abortion. We know about the education system. We know about Antifa, which is the closest thing that I've seen to white supremacy since I've been alive, is Antifa, which is the modern-day KKK.
So I agree with you on all of those.
That show up,
I agree.
Okay? And
I
the
agree.
media
Those
that
are the biggest
demonizes.
issues.
But instead you want to talk about something that you have to pull your memory from 10 years ago
Can I
when
ask
they were walking down the
you
street in
something?
Texas.
What do you think started black-on-black crime? It hasn't always been a big problem as what you're talking about. What do you think started?
I already told you what I thought. Father absence started black-on-black crime.
And what
I already told you that.
What started the biggest father absence in America in the black community?
Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1964.
Was he not American government? That's what I'm saying.
And let's do a present.
Look, what I'm saying is I don't really care. I don't care about Democrats and Republicans.
Who is still encouraging father absence?
Democrats and Republicans are the same. It's the same government. That's what y'all don't see. Like
I'm neither.
Political parties are literally to divide us because
No.
Democrats and Republicans are the same.
I think you and I agree on the fact that there are problems. What we disagree with is that I am telling you that the left started it, the Democrats started it, and the Democrats are still perpetuating it. And the way that they're able to perpetuate it is by getting you to stand up here and ask me a ridiculous question about the damn KKK when we should be talking about father absence and abortion and black-on-black crime.
Candace, what an absolute beast. And this point really does expose them and make them look rather silly, because when you're confronted with the real issues and the detrimental effects that they have on your community and on society, prancing around talking about the KKK begins to look like a bit of a non-issue. And like I said, it's cross-cultural. In Australia, we have the same thing. We have the media and politicians who sell victimhood and completely ignore the real issues because they're much, much more difficult to address. So instead, they virtue signal and talk about politically correct things, which I find endlessly pathetic. So looking forward to reading your thoughts, guys, and looking forward to catching you on Instagram, Twitter, all those fantastic places in the bio and at the top of the comments. Hit that link, and if you guys want to watch another video, click right here. Until next time, I'm Jake. This is Rattlesnake TV, keeping you armed and dangerous.